So, Rikesh and I have been set a bit of a challenge. Take a jacket and create from our own personal tastes 3 dressed up summer looks.
I feel like they're going to be very, very different.
We'll find out. So for the challenge, I've picked quite a neutral shade. I've picked a biscuit wool jacket with a herringbone weave. We've covered this in videos before, but wool is a great cloth for summer events. It holds a lovely shape and it breathes. So definitely you can wear wool in summer. First look, I really like this check shirt. I think check shirts became, probably back in my German street days, they became quite popular for work, and then they became a bit of a cliche, but I actually really like this fine check. It pops with the linen tie, and I sort of brought all the colours together for the pocket square. I would wear this look kind of bit of a casual wedding, sort of maybe where it was a jacket where you wanted to wear a tie but didn't necessarily want to wear a full suit, maybe with some sort of cream gabardine trousers and some sort of nice loafer. But I like the fact you've got a lot of different patterns going on here, but a very limited colour palette, so it makes it quite harmonious.
I think because also the patterns are very subtle, from afar they could almost look solid.
Oh, for sure, yeah, exactly. You don't notice the herringbone until you're very close up. Even in the shirt, it's a very subtle pattern, so I think that probably helps bring it all together.
I think my favourite thing though is actually the pocket square. It just adds a really nice touch of colour, and I think for outfits like this, which are generally, quite neutral and, muted, having a harmonious coloured pocket square, but a vibrant coloured pocket square really kind of brings out a little bit of personal flair and character, which is really interesting.
Completely. I think if this was just like a plain blue silk tie and no pocket square, it could look a little bit corporate, a little bit too business-like. But I think that lifts it.
And similarly, if it was the same colour as the tie, would just not really work.
Here. That's banned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've chosen a green hopsack. So firstly, I love this shade. And I generally really like green because I think you don't see it quite often, and I think a lot of the challenges for many people is that they don't necessarily know how to style it.
Very true. No, it's lots of blue, then after blue it's beiges and sometimes grey. This is particularly for summer.
Exactly. And the hopsack adds a really nice kind of level of texture, which is always good for especially separates, but summer separates.
Yeah.
So with this is a really interesting look because whilst I love the Oxford cotton button down, I'm a bit of a stickler for detail with collars. So with this, I would usually prefer a slightly longer point button down, similarly to what I'm wearing currently. But the stripe, the classic OCBD stripe is beautiful, and actually because the blue is so pared back, it works really well with this shade of green. And I've opted for it's a charcoal Prince of Wales, so again, really simple, really classic and really elegant, but just slightly unusual in terms of basically the colour combinations.
No, certainly. Okay, I really like this combination. I agree that we're not seeing enough colour in jackets, and I would never say to somebody this should be if you get a summer jacket, get green first. I would always say get blue. But if you're building a wardrobe, a solid colour. And what I love about this is that Rikesh has avoided that classic mistake if I'm wearing a green jacket and immediately going for green in the accessories. The classic thing is I need to have green in a tie, a green striped shirt. You don't. I think it looks far more elegant and put together by having blues, greys and this harmonious pocket square. There might be a tiny bit of green in the pocket square, depends how you fold it, but you don't need to put green on green.
And then to complete the look for this, I would go for a tropical worsted trouser.
Nice.
So grey, mid-grey. Obviously, I would
echoing the tie.
Precisely, yeah. You want to kind of make sure it kind of fits tonally with the rest of the ensemble. And then, in terms of the footwear, I would, the classic is the tobacco loafer. You could possibly get away with wearing black, a black loafer as well. But with that, you just have to make sure it's a very, very sleek and very casual loafer. So like a black Scotch grain, for example.
Oh, nice.
I would probably wear with this.
Nice touch. So for my next look, I've treated the jacket almost like a blazer, the classic sort of navy boating jacket style, and gone for a sort of a club stripe. I love the small stripe Bengal, like the mini Bengal with the bold stripe, sort of stripe on stripe action, so it looks quite interesting. And then a harmonious pocket square. I think this would be sort of a look where an event you probably wear a blazer traditionally, things like the polo, maybe going to the Henley Regatta, maybe a bit of a corporate lunch, just respectful, nicely put together.
Yeah, and if you think again about the colours, I think it's always, blue and green can be quite tricky to pull off together, but because both of the blues here are significantly softer, it lends itself really well to looking quite in keeping with the green, which then accentuates the biscuit jacket, and it just kind of works really well together. And stripe on stripe is always something I very much condone, but provided there's enough difference between the width of the said stripe.
Yeah, it's different textures, different scales. I think to carry this off as well, I would go for, depending on the season, either like a lightweight flannel or some sort of tropical worsted grey trousers. And if I was feeling quite natty, I'll probably pick out that green for the sock and some suede shoes.
For my next look, I know you said that you don't really like pairing green with green, but I've gone full on. I've committed to the colour match. You've committed to the
green, I like it.
Because I think there are ways to do it which works, and the reason why I think this works together is because you have a lot of different textures, a lot of different patterns going on. So and also slightly different shades of green. Can I just state for the record? So we've got a classic Bengal stripe in a more of a moss green, rather than what I would say the jacket is a bit more leaning towards like forest.
Yes.
And then you've got the burgundy houndstooth, and then you've got a classic pocket square which accentuates the tie. And I think it's very tonal, but this for me is an example of how you can colour coordinate in a way that works really well, rather than it looking a bit too forced.
No, I think the reason this works is because there isn't a bit of green in the tie. I think again, it's like when you put the shirt on the tie, the tie on the shirt, a lot of people think, well, if I've got a green striped shirt and I need a little bit of green in the tie, sort of like a textbook way of matching. Whereas I think the complementary shades of the dark red and the green, fantastic. And like you say, different textures. But however, I think this is the look of the day. I think it's the best of the six. Hands down, you've won this one. However, in the excitement of putting them together, you forgot to button the shirt down.
Aha, now see, I just think it just makes it look a little bit cooler and a little less stiff. We can agree to disagree on that point. But no, I just think it kind of, it's just cool. There's no right or wrong to it, no matter what Chris tells you. I think you can have a button down, unbuttoned, again, provided that the collar is long enough.
Sure.
So you can get away with it.
So you're not going to purposefully sort of put your collar like this so it sticks out, so the whole world knows how cool you are?
Yeah, I don't really think you need to overemphasize the point when it should really speak for itself.
Fine.
And then again, in terms of the trouser and the shoes, again, the classic grey will always work really well with this shade of green.
You wouldn't do red?
Potentially not. You could, however, do a really nice kind of cream or like off-white cotton drill.
Yeah,
which could work really well with this. And then if you do that, then probably best off with a brown shoe rather than black.
So Rikesh, for my final look, I've picked an occasion where it's probably quite a casual party and you don't have to wear a jacket, but you feel like wearing a jacket. Or if you're not too sure on the formality and you're sort of stuck in between, this is a great outfit. My absolute favourite chambray cutaway shirt, a plain tie in shantung, so you've got some lovely texture going on there, and then just a simple linen pocket square, just picking up the tie, really smart. With this, to complete the look, I would go for like quite a slim leg sort of white needle cord trouser, or maybe like a white jean and some chukka boots. So kind of put together nice sort of smartish restaurant in the summer, maybe sitting by the river, I don't know. But you could easily dress this down. If you turned up and you felt like, I've really got the vibe wrong, everyone's in jogging bottoms, you could take the jacket off, you can roll the sleeves up, you can take the tie off and you don't feel overdressed. Or just stick to this outfit and be the best person dressed there.
Exactly, it's a super versatile look, even though it's, relatively, you'd think it's very well put together, but actually it's very adaptable.
Exactly.
But the thing for me, shantung, I think, always steals the show. If you've got it, you've got to show it off. And this way it's done really well, where it's not overpowering the outfit. But, and again, because it's a shantung, it's something that you don't necessarily notice when you're quite far away, but as soon as you get there, you can tell that this person has paid attention to detail. And that's, I think, what epitomizes proper style.
Thank you.
And then this is my final look. I absolutely love this because it's just not something you'd normally see together. But also, this is like my ideal color palette. So you'll notice that all of the shirt, tie, and the jacket are a solid color, but the textures are all different. So you've got the hopsack, you've got the shantung silk, and you've got the linen, which adds a really nice kind of feel to it. And then in terms of the pocket square, you've kind of accented all but none. So the colors on this pocket square are all actually different to all of the pieces, but they're very similar. So whereas you've got the hopsack, which works with the black, you've got the cream that works with the grey, and then you've got the orange that works with the tobacco. Yeah. It's really straightforward and actually really simple, but it just works so well.
It does bring it all together very nicely without being perfectly matching. No, there's definitely different tones there. And the grey is an inspired choice. It's not an obvious one for the linen. I think that's it does really well. I think again, it's by having the texture, it makes it much easier than if it was like a silver satin. It just would not work at all. So
and again, what's really interesting with this tie is that even when I was putting this look together, when I saw this tie isolated, I was like, oh, it's got a lot of luster. It's very, very shiny, to the point where this wouldn't really work until I literally held it up against it. And I think the way the other colours work, it kind of tones it down a bit, which makes it just sing really well.
No, sure. And tell me more about this shirt, because it's not just a button down, is it?
No, so this is actually a bespoke button down Western linen tobacco shirt that I had made, just because I just wanted to make my shirt maker's life slightly more difficult than it already was. I just wanted something a little bit fun and playful, but also something that you can kind of get away with in a more formal look. No, but sure. You know, this shirt you can wear by itself, but also when you do decide to dress it up, or actually even wear it with like a denim jacket and trousers or jeans or whatever, it kind of works with pretty much everything.
No, sure. I guess with summer looks, you need to be. The chances are, hopefully, you'll be taking your jacket off at some stage. So having a shirt which also has a statement or a bit of a surprise underneath has some merit to it.
Absolutely. So yeah, to complete the look, I think just a classic cream trouser will work really well with this. Potentially cotton drill.
It's got to be cowboy. Surely, it's got to be cowboy boots and denim jeans. Surely,
the cowboy boots will be quite interesting, and I think Austin will probably vouch with me on that. But you know, again, just the classic cotton drill, cream, maybe
5-pocket style.
Yes, although I don't really like a 5-pocket. Big buckle 100%, especially when you take the jacket off. And then, you know, your classic, not cowboy boot, just classic brown loafer.
So Rikesh, how do you think we did?
You know, I think that was really fun. All of the looks were kind of same but different, if you will. Like, I find that you kind of gravitated towards certain colours, whereas I've done the same, but all of the looks have something specific about them that just makes them quite interesting, and I think there's a lot of takeaways from it.
Absolutely. I think although the taste is slightly different, I think we both have similar aesthetic values. In fact, we both love texture. We both don't like being too matchy. But then, of course, we have differences as well.
Absolutely. And I think for the next video, you need to wear something entirely styled by me and vice versa.
That sounds like fun. And does that involve me having a bespoke Western shirt?
We can make it happen. I think we're about similar size.
Job done.
There we go.
So thank you for watching. Love to hear your comments on this. Put them down below, and don't forget to subscribe.